1874 Preview Show.
Hello and welcome to 1874. It's time for a match preview show as Villa head to Brentford, a real bogey ground today. I nearly said tomorrow, it's today, isn't it? We're doing our preview a little bit last minute this week. Apologies for that. We just haven't had a chance to get our schedules to align this week. It's been a very busy time, obviously just before Christmas, but we didn't want to not do a preview for this game because we always do one. So I'm delighted to be joined by my Sky Sports News colleague, Dave Reid. I even got to work with him this week and we even got to talk about Villa on Sky Sports News, which was absolutely brilliant. Dave, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. Yeah, all good. How are you?
Yeah, very, very well, thank you. And looking forward to the game this afternoon. Historically, not a brilliant place for Villa to go, Brentford. I don't think we've won there since about the 1800s, I think, if my stats in my head are correct. We can't seem to buy a win there. Even last season when we were good, we went there and drew, but we did nick a point. But like we've said for a few other games, feels like a decent time to play Brentford. Decimated by injuries. Attack and defence has been absolutely obliterated, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of flown under the radar a little bit, Brentford's injury situation, because maybe it's just because I'm sort of in that world, and all you seem to hear about is Tottenham's injury list and Manchester United's injury list and Newcastle's injury list. And then I was looking this week at Brentford. They are absolutely down to the bare bones. And they're going to have to do some serious business, I think, in January as well. Obviously, Ivan Toney's going to be coming back for them in January, but we're not too sure whether he's going to be able to hit the ground running. I know he's kind of back training at the moment, but without Kevin Schade, without Brian Mbeumo, scoring goals for them, I think, is going to be a bit of a problem. And then at the back as well, in wide areas, they're really struggling at the moment. But the one positive that Brentford do have is that they've got Thomas Frank, who is, for me, one of the best managers in the Premier League. He's always able to come up with something different to win games, and now it's a real test of his coaching ability to try and get goals and clean sheets out of this side. I don't think they're going to be in any danger of relegation, but no. I think they do need to do some business in January just to shore things up a little bit, just to give them a little bit of backup and depth.
Yeah, we think they might go 5-3-2, don't we? We think that because of the injury situation, because they last time out they played Sheffield United. I think they did play with three up front still, but playing against a top three team at the moment. How good does that sound in Aston Villa? We think they might go 5-3-2, don't we? With Visser and Maupay up front, but actually Maupay had a real bad time at Everton. Didn't have a brilliant time at Brighton either, but he's gone back to Brentford. Looks like he's kind of found some love for the game again and found some belief in himself. I think he's their top assister, actually, as well, Neil Maupay. So he's a player who has been a thorn in Villa's side in the past. He's back at Brentford. He's going to get a run now, isn't he? Because they haven't really got anyone else.
Yeah, Maupay's... Villa were interested in signing him at one point, and we're looking at trying to get him in, but it was ending up being the fee was a little bit too high.
You say that we spent £25 million on Wesley instead.
Yeah, well, yeah. And neither Wesley nor Neil Maupay, I would say, have quite reached the heights that some of the supporters would have hoped for of the teams that they ended up signing for. The only reason why maybe they wouldn't go 3-5-2 or 5-3-2 is that I think, if I remember rightly, when we were at the corresponding fixture last season, when we nicked a point at the end, I think they played 4-5-1 or 4-1-4-1, and basically their eights sort of matched up with our sixes, and then the kind of defensive midfield player was the one who was picking up the shadow striker, and then the centre back picked up Ollie Watkins. So they might decide to do something similar if they thought they could get some joy out of that. But we're a different animal to the team we were last season. I think even we've kind of gone on to another level this season. So that, and we saw on Monday Night Football when Thomas Frank was a guest on Monday Night Football on Sky, when he talked about the way his teams like to play against the top six, or so-called top six sides. Yeah. And he likes to play 5-3-2 and try and outnumber them in wide areas and in midfield. So, yeah, that's a real possibility of them going 3-5-2 or 5-3-2.
Yeah, Odysseus Promo. Oh, I knew I was going to say that wrong. Odysseus Prodrorumu. I've said that wrong still. Is that Maupay's never scored against Villa, but I've got memories of him scoring against Villa in the Championship. I could be completely wrong here, but I'm relatively confident he scored a few goals against Villa in the Championship.
Yeah, I think I was
Yeah,
at Griffin Park for the game when he
cold one.
scored.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was as well.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think we are right there, Odysseus. But apologies if we're not. A few people in the chat, Chris Dolan asking to see your sneakers, Dave. He's obviously heard about what you were wearing on Thursday in Sky Studios. Absolutely hilarious sneakers they were. But it's a tight preview today, so we don't have time to talk about it. And Odysseus has apologised. No need to apologise, Odysseus. Maybe you were just looking at Premier League only, because I don't think he has scored against us in the Premier League as it stands. I'm not trying to jinx anything, because I know that I'm a terrible jinx. Whenever I say things don't happen, they end up happening. Big game for Villa, obviously, for obvious reasons, Dave. We've still got a chance of being top at Christmas at the moment, which is what we all want. With a home game next week as well, we're very good at home. If we could take 3 points from this game away from home, it'd be absolutely fantastic, wouldn't it?
Right. All I want is the as it stands table to show us top. If we can get an early goal and Arsenal out in front against Brighton, I just want the as it stands. That's all I want. The screenshot, so I can say we've been top of the Premier League almost at Christmas. I will take that. I'm still in that mind frame that I can't quite believe where we are and what we're achieving at the moment. So if the as it stands table delivers today, I will be very, very happy. Yeah, I mean, there's an obvious incentive there, isn't it? I mean, that is kind of the team talk, isn't it? That if you want to really make a statement, it's going to places like Brentford and winning today when they are struggling with injury. So, yeah, I'll definitely take top by tonight. That's for sure.
Yeah, as I say, it hasn't been a great place for Villa to go, but it is a good time to play Brentford. They're not on the best of form at the moment due to the injuries. I don't think it's anything to do with anything else other than the fact that they've got injuries, because it's really over the last few years in the Premier League, going away to Brentford's been a really tough place for most Premier League teams to go, and big teams have often struggled there. When they've been going well, they'll rock up to Brentford and they struggle. You know, Sky love going there as well. Carragher and Neville, they love a Friday night football, don't they, or a Monday night football at Brentford. It's just a fact. They're a fantastic club. They do things in the right way, and so unique as well. But we've got a couple of problems in terms of personnel themselves. If Tielemans and Bailey weren't involved midweek, their doubts. Dougie and Luca Dean are suspended. Probably know what's going to happen with Luca Dean. It'll be Moreno, but Villa's midfield setup probably much depends on the fact whether Tielemans and Bailey are back. But we were talking just before we came on. Even if Tielemans and Bailey aren't back, we make it that it will be Zaniolo and Ramsey on the flanks, and maybe McGinn and Kamara in central midfield. There's still Dendoncker as well in the discussion. So even if players are out, it would be Diaby and Watkins up front. So even if players are still out, we've still got options. And, Zaniolo scoring midweek was good for him. Hopefully that will give him a bit of confidence. Carlos will probably play at centre-back, so Cash could even come in and play in midfield as well and offer some width on that side. So, we've got a decent squad, even when a few people are out. We've got players that can fill in. It's only a game as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite a nice dilemma really for Unai Emery at this point in the season, because you're kind of expecting injuries because of the schedule at this point, and what it does do is it gives Unai Emery an option to not play Tielemans and Bailey today if they are only 6. And if Villa did have a smaller squad, it might be the case that they would have to play today. But I think it gives him a good option not to, simply because there's options, and we've talked through them there a little bit, because Diego Carlos can play centre back, which means Konsa can play right back, and Matty Cash can fill in on the right hand side. John McGinn can come in and play central midfield. Ramsey, who is now back fit, he's great to see. He could play left, and it just gives Unai Emery some interesting dilemmas and some good problems to have. And it's not the fact that he's kind of having to push players through the boundaries of their physicality in order to play.
Chris Thayer, in the chat, is asking us whether we take a point today. I don't think I ever feel like that with Villa now, where I take a point. That's just not how I feel, because I always fancy us to win a game. People talk about our away record as well, but I actually think the away record's that bad. I'd be interested to see the away league table. I haven't seen it, but people talk like our away form is awful. It's not. It's just that the home form is so good. It's perfect that anything next to it is going to look like it's not as good, because it isn't as good. But away form's actually okay, I always think.
Yeah, I mean, it's just conceding goals, isn't it? That's the only thing really, and we've talked about it before around clean sheets. It'd be nice to keep another one today, given the kind of week that they had last week. So, yeah, I don't tend to. It all depends on game state, doesn't it? I mean, the same fixture last season, we would have definitely taken a point given how the game went. So it all kind of depends on how the game pans out as to whether we would take a point. But at this point in time, Villa can absolutely go into the game thinking that they can get all 3 points.
Yeah, I actually think as well that those last 2 wins, the way they won them, a couple of clean sheets, I think it will do us good in general terms. I think it will give us confidence in away games as well. And, we've beat Spurs, we've beat Chelsea, we've beat Burnley. Points at Bournemouth and Wolves, they've been tough places to go at the point when we've gone there. The away record's not terrible. We've lost to Liverpool, Newcastle, and Forest. Forest is probably the only one that you'd be massively critical of in terms of the results. So I think the form in general is absolutely outstanding, and to be third in the league at this point, in the title race as well, as we know that we are. Man City dropping points again yesterday. It's a chance to kind of accelerate ourselves away from them a little bit, and you just never know. I mean, I say you never know what will happen in the Liverpool and Arsenal games, but I'd be absolutely shocked if Manchester United even scored a goal against Liverpool. They're so bad at the moment. But it's a chance to get away from Man City a little bit more, isn't it, today?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, and the more I think about it, I think when we were beaten at Liverpool, I was a little bit disappointed in how that game went. But I think, given the passage of time and the Liverpool fans that I speak to, they say that the game against Villa at Anfield was probably one of their best performances of the season so far, if not the best performance of the season so far. So it kind of puts into context a little bit that game. And then, you can consider the Nottingham Forest game as a bit of a bad day at the office. But on the whole, I think we've been pretty positive away from home. So it's just about continuing that today, hopefully.
Yeah, Tony Sparks seems to think that we're ninth in the away league table, which isn't.
As does Adam.
Adam's giving us the big thumbs up as well. He had a balloon float past his head a minute ago, I noticed as well. He's giving us the big thumbs up. So ninth away form, probably top for home form. So yeah, probably equals you out to about third in the league where we are, doesn't it? So yeah, that says it all. That's ninth isn't bad. I think we'll start to pick up away from home now. I think even that Liverpool game, I don't think we'd found ourselves yet. I don't think we'd found our feet. I think Forest was an off day, but Liverpool and Newcastle, I don't think we quite found our groove. We were missing key. Obviously, Mings went off injured in the first game. We were still getting our defence together at the point of going to Liverpool. Since then, we've only lost 1 game away at Forest, so I think the away form's pretty fine. I'm okay with it. Prediction time, Dave Reid. Let's do a prediction this week. On my other podcast that I do, I have gone for Villa to win a 3rd consecutive game, 1-0. What are you going for?
I think I'm going to go for 2-0. I think
you love a clean sheet prediction, don't you? Never don't predict a clean sheet.
I know. Well, the only reason I'm going for a clean sheet this time is just because of seemingly there's a lack of goals in that Brentford team. But we know that Brentford are always strong from set pieces, so that is something that we've got to keep an eye on. And I think they'll be putting even more emphasis on set pieces now that they don't have kind of that many threats from open play. So it'll be, whoever's coming up from the back, we've got to be really careful for free kicks and corners. But yeah, I'm going to go 2-0. 2-0 for Villa. An early goal and a late goal. That's my prediction.
The only thing with Brentford is whenever we play them, someone turns into the second coming of Ronaldo, Messi and Pele, all rolled into one, don't they? That just always happens with Brentford, whether it's little Ryan Woods in the midfield in the Championship, whether it's Ivan Toney, whether it's Mope in the Championship, someone always turns into an absolute world-class operator when we rock up at Brentford. So there is that to worry about. Right, Dave, I know you've got to get back to work, so we'll call it time there. Thanks to people that have joined us in the chat. Thank you to Dave, for joining me. And thank you to Adam for producing. Sorry, it's been a bit of a quick one, but as I say, just before Christmas, schedules have been an absolute nightmare, and I have to hold my hands up and take responsibility for that. So apologies for messing everyone around as I did on Friday night. We'll be back tomorrow, I imagine, with Global Greg Evans. He isn't actually at Brentford Villa today because he's not he is a Villa reporter, but he's also the Liverpool reporter, so he's at Liverpool against Manchester United. But I know Greg, he does his prep. He'll have watched the 90 minutes back for certain before we do our show tomorrow. So watch out for that. And yeah, enjoy your Sunday. Hopefully Villa aid your enjoyment of the Sunday. And as always, up the Villa.